Because of the ubiquity of television in modern households, few children today spend their free time reading stories which lack the visual appeal of flashy television programs. Thus, few children today will develop a lifelong interest in literature. Question. The conclusion drawn above follows logically if which one of the following is assumed. The vocabulary thus is a reference for conclusion, so you can actually replace the vocabulary thus with the terminology in conclusion. Few children today will develop a lifelong interest in literature. Thus shows you that the last sentence would be the conclusion statement. So we're basically looking for information of how children who spend their time reading stories and not watch television develop a lifelong interest in the field of literature. A. No children who spend their free time reading stories fail to develop a lifelong interest in literature. If you're having a hard time understanding the answer choices, if you ever heard to translate the sentence or translate the information so you understand it, you could do it with the answers, just translate it slightly. So translate the answers slightly. So for example, no children is the same thing as saying children who do not spend their free time reading stories fail to develop a lifelong interest in literature, which is the opposite. It's basically saying children who do not spend their free time reading stories fail to develop. So that's kind of saying the opposite. So go ahead and eliminate it. Only means 100%. So be careful with the vocabulary only. Only those people who currently spend their free time reading stories will develop a lifelong interest in literature. That does make sense that the personnel who spend their time reading stories develop a lifelong interest in literature. So go ahead and choose that as the connection pass with the interest in literature. C. No children who grow up in a household that lacks a television fail to spend their free time reading stories. Once again, if you're having a hard time reading it or understanding it, just go ahead and translate the answer slightly. Children who do not grow up in a household that lacks television spend their free time reading stories. We're not really looking for the information that communicates about reading stories. We're looking for the information that fills with the conclusion statement as lifelong interest in literature, which choice B has and C doesn't. So go ahead and remove it. Because of the interest in literature, you're going to see that choice B is a better answer and not C. D. Few people who watch a great deal of television develop a lifelong interest in literature. So this one's going to say no. Just because it's saying a few people, it means kind of like a few people just kind of means like 2 out of 100 who watch television develop a great deal of literature. We're not really looking for like the 1-2% who watch television who developed a lifelong interest in literature. We're actually looking for the ones who actually read it and developed a lifelong interest in literature. So go ahead and eliminate it. E. Few children who spend their free time reading stories watch television. So this one's kind of adding both of them as far as free time reading stories watch television. We're not really looking for that as well. We're looking for basically something that is the assumption of this stimulus, and you're going to see that choice B has it. That's kind of what the stimulus was getting at. B. Only those people who currently spend their free time reading stories will develop a lifelong interest in literature. Exactly what we're looking for. The people who are actually reading the information are the ones who are developing the lifelong interest in literature, and not the other way around. So choice B will make your answer. So we have choice B. So for the answer for this question is going to be B. Only those people who currently spend their free time reading stories will develop a lifelong interest in literature.